It was going so well. The beginning had been a little dry, and we'd sometimes gone overboard on the camp. But we'd had such great times together. Some wonderful, emotional moments. I'd even found some appreciation for expecting. And then she came along.
I get visions.
We do things a certain way.
At last the roof goes on, and nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong!
Cordy is throwing a party at her new digs and invited Wesley and Angel. Wesley is in his own world, while Angel seems...
Would you like to dance?
more hesitant. Angel sulks off to the kitchen where Ghost Dennis pulls him a chair and cracks him a drink. God, I love Dennis. He's a small but wonderful injection of sweetness and whimsy that the show needed. The next day, Cordy chastises Angel for being a sulk at the party.
I got two modes with people. Bite and avoid.
I love his insecure delivery of that line. Very endearing. You might think his relationship with Buffy would be contrary to his statement, but... Cordy is the exception to his bite-avoid rule, but Cordy being Cordy, she just wouldn't let him avoid her. Wesley comes in looking for free food, and Angel decides to hire him.
There's something in my eye.
Cordy has a vision of a man on a boat, cooking until his eyes blow up. Angel heads to his location and finds a scared man from another dimension who says there's a demon loose that burns people up with rage. Angel goes to find some info someplace. I don't know where. I'm not gonna lie. I was really struggling to pay attention at this point. Stuff happens and a woman in the doorway burns his arm. He tries to fight her, but she has powers. There's a 3-minute bit that consists of Angel plugging in his cell phone charger, figuring out how to dial, having a bad connection with Cordelia. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm better. Angel tails the mysterious Bernie superwoman to a museum. She tries to get some security guards on him, and there's a nice bit where he pretends to be a tour guide and has actual first-hand info on a painting. He finds Bernie, and this is where she tries to rescue a nude woman from a portal. The nude woman is abducted by the other guys from earlier. Those guys are now acting in no uncertain terms like the bad guys, calling the naked woman it. They use a tool to clip some kind of Klingon-like brow thingy on her neck. She screams. Next scene, she's passive and relaxed. Bernie McBoob-Window explains that the knobby thing on their women's necks is the source of both the sexual and magical power of the women of their species. Their sexuality makes them irresistible to men who try to force themselves on their women, so the women choose to put themselves on ice. Ruminate on that one for just a moment. Angel helps her defend the women she's brought into this dimension, while Cordy and Wes move them to transport. This is the first time that Wesley's fighting ability isn't played for slapstick, something I've been so over since that was a joke on Buffy. Bernie McBoob-Window is captured on her way out, and her captors threaten to circumcise her. Angel saves her, and the episode ends with a little team camaraderie. Other than some issues of theme that we'll cover in a second, this episode is very dry, especially in comparison to the better ones so far this season. It's possible that the topic of dimensional jumping, man-boiling vixens was too ambitious for Angel's budget at this point in the series. The Women on Ice spa feels a little cheap to me, except for the fact that it's staffed by a young Sean Gunn, brother of James Gunn, the director of Slither and Guardians 1 and 2. I think what's actually going on are a few too many lofty goals and incomplete grasp of what has worked for the show so far, and what hasn't. She is a well-intentioned story about the horrors of female circumcision that accidentally swings the wrong direction with its message about female sexuality, while undercutting its own topic because Angel's protagonist is, well, Angel. The female circumcision aspect of the episode is relatively self-explanatory. Practices of female genital mutilation around our world differ by country and ethnic group, and the practice ranges from removing the clitoral hood and the clitoris all the way up to closure of the vulva until a woman's wedding night. The portrayal of the practice in She feels appropriately horrifying, especially the sequence where we see it done, though the episode could have been more interesting if the men hadn't been so on-the-nose evil. The immorality of these kinds of practices ends up cloaked in centuries of tradition and ceremony, and there is something more interesting in a story where the characters are forced to find their ethical center beneath those accumulated sands of time.
As we've no business, this is not business.
As in the Buffy episode Helpless. But as much as I can appreciate the episode's topic in a we should talk about these things in media kind of way, I think it shoots itself in the foot with what the women are forced to do in our world.
The man. Some respond to the call involuntarily. They try to force themselves. It wasn't safe for me.
That's why. The ice.
Yes.
So the women's sexuality is just so attractive to a man that he can't control himself and will try and rape them. To avoid this, women must voluntarily put themselves on ice until they're through puberty. Yuck. So in metaphor then, this is a restatement of abstinence-only purity ball culture, in which the women are responsible for managing the impulses of rabid, horny men as well as their own. In abstinence culture, women are the ones who are supposed to refrain, women interested in sex are abnormal, and the men pursuing sex are just boys being boys. I couldn't find any evidence to support this one way or another, but I'm guessing that the character of Jira is an attempt to subvert the dragon lady stereotype, which sprung out of early cinema and would kind of make sense given Angel's noirish influences. Early noir began in the 1930s and was often tied together with violent, hard-boiled crime films. As a reaction to public outcry, Hollywood instituted the Hays Code in 1934, a broad set of rules which governed what morally could be allowed in film at the time. And one of the rules was that you couldn't show an interracial relationship, which severely limited roles for non-white actors. Anna May Wong was a Chinese-American actress working, and because of the Hays Code, ended up being regularly cast in dragon lady roles, popularizing the stereotype. According to TVTropes.com, the dragon lady, usually the villain, is characterized by her overt sexual and physical aggression, untrustworthiness, and mysteriousness. And Anna May Wong's hairstyle in Shanghai Express, whose plot bears a passing similarity to the plot of this episode, is what made me wonder at Jira's implied connection to the trope. The episode implies she's the bad guy early on. Angel is uncontrollably attracted to her. The episode is driven by her species' sexual nature. And I suppose the subversive aspect of the episode would then be that she isn't the bad guy? As we covered with I Fall to Pieces and touched on with Expecting, when tackling feminist issues or issues regarding ethnicity inside of a comic book-style hero's journey, you're going to create challenges for yourself when your series' central protagonist is a big strapping white guy. Now that is neither a strike against tackling feminist issues nor big strapping white guys. I'm simply highlighting a pitfall. In I Fall to Pieces, Ronald has taken Melissa's power away through stalking and fear, and Kate says Melissa needs to get her own power back.
He took this girl's power away and nobody can get it back for her but her.
Which relegates Angel to a boring role of pep coach before Melissa suddenly switches to empowered mode, and then Angel kinda sorta rescues her anyway. In the video for Expecting, I said that I didn't think the mystical pregnancy trope was intrinsically sexist, but could very easily lapse into it, especially when you temporarily wipe your pregnant character's personality, turn her into little more than a baby-making damsel in distress, and have her rescued by her male hero. And Jira's character here, while having a powerful cause, still ends up being rescued by Angel. Thing is, Angel is a comic book hero. He needs to be able to rescue people. That's the job of a comic book hero. But if you just try and port over the same feminist themes as Buffy was covering, it makes for a very awkward fit, either undercutting the theme or making Angel look a little antiquated in light of the topic. Thankfully, the writers figure out how to manage this as the show goes on. But it's the bell we've been ringing since we started. It's the first season, and these are the growing pains. The first 10 minutes of this episode are from a show that is learning to enjoy itself and have some fun. Then there is the rest of the episode. Still, if you made it through She, you're in the clear. It's all uphill this season.